Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game of today's LTA 2025 matchup.
Actually, really in a great spot yesterday against 100 Thieves. They won the early game quite heavily. Had things gone a little bit differently, maybe they can actually close out that game, but we are into it here. We'll see who can actually take them down. And if you don't remember, it's actually quite a rivalry kind of between these teams. XU, used to be on Dig, got dropped, definitely took exception to that. And the way that it was handled by Dignitas, talked a lot in the show match, in the group draw about it.
I also know, that Katarina hover, XU always hovers Katarina for his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And now Surdy's hovering it too. There must be a little extra trash talk behind this. I don't know. Well, probably reading too much into some random drama, but the Vi first pick, regardless
The
of
hidden
it.
meaning behind the hover.
I got to investigate,
Hover, the counter hover.
What does it really mean, Azael?
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. It's going to be Vi locked in, so they're going to take a little bit of a denial pick there. Obviously, great combo between that Vi and Thalia. They will grab a Varus that has been picked again. Everyone's doing it.
It gets deeper.
Yeah, exactly.
Shaden, though, let's see what they do lock in for their mid lane answer into this Thalia. I feel like it's been so common where we've had so many of these first pick Vi's, and then the opposing team almost always just like breaks up the Thalia combination because it is just so good with it. And Thalia is also good individually. So again, we have the breakup of the mid jungle duo there, and we have the exact same Varus and Ezreal AD carry matchup that we have seen become the most common for us.
So it is going to be Ari very likely being locked in. Another really common pairing there with the Vi. Katie, I thought, played really well yesterday against Quid. He was playing the Grasp Victor, if you remember, and was looking really strong in that game. Got a big early advantage for himself. Wasn't able to actually close that one out, but it is going to be the Nefiri getting paired up here with the Thalia. We saw this earlier today, and I do think that they are going to need then some hard engage, some lockdown, especially from Huhi. So that's likely what's going to be targeted here in the bans.
Yeah, definitely. They need CC both for the Nefiri and also for the Thalia. Need a little bit of help to set stuff up. Right now, like, they can fish around with Varus ultimates, but you want to be more secure than that. You want to have some more guarantee than that. And Huhi has the most time for any support spent with their jungler. And when your jungler is Nefiri, you definitely want like a Leona, a Nautilus, something else there to really start the plays off for you.
I'm surprised to see the Scion ban coming through. I would have expected it to be more like, okay, banning out some of these picks from Huhi. He likes the Rakan a lot. Maybe ban out Rakan and, Alistar and Nautilus and these types of
I feel like Huhi's pool of engaged supports is just too deep, though, because he likes to get real crazy with it, Amumu's and sets and everything.
By the way. Wow. That's pretty impressive for a poster, not going to lie.
We have some very good artists in the LTA fandom, for sure.
Yeah, all the player cards and all the fan art that I've been seeing. Just saw some other sick fan art that someone did for Vulcan's birthday. Toasta, that's a good poster too. Okay, respect. Both the fans showing up here. And we do have Poppy going to get banned out alongside that Karma. Obviously, Karma, great pairing with the Ezreal, can really make for a deadly 2v2. And it is going to be Alistar. So one of the picks that I was kind of assuming might be banned out is going to be taken away. And of course, I'm interested to see where Surdy wants to go. Is it just going to be like a second round Jace, and that's why they actually banned out the Scion here, because that is kind of considered to be one of those good answers into it, and has been gaining a little bit of popularity here in the LTA.
Yeah, and Jace has become so popular, definitely highly likely. But let's see about the full bottom lane matchup first with this Ezreal. The Rakan is very quick with these engages, and they're already indexed really highly here for Dignitas into picks with Ari and Vi and Rakan. Lots of very quick plays possible for them. See about this Surdy blind pick with only the protection ban of the Scion and the Gwen going down from their side.
The Scion just made me think it's going to be Jace, but we'll see if he's going to cook something else up. He has played 5 unique champions so far up in the top lane. Actually, a lot of top laners have. And there's still so many of the primary ones available. There's Ambessa as well. That would be. But yeah, Jace feels obvious because of that Scion ban, so he's going to lock this in. And most of those really good Jace answers
Insta.
We see a lot of, but this time there is going to be one.
And it's such a good such a good matchup for the York, because the cage is insanely annoying for Jace. Insanely annoying with the short range. You can easily land those. We saw Castle himself be on the receiving end of this exact matchup. Castle versus Whippo was our first York top in the entire league, and Castle goes, "What the hell with these ghouls just chasing me down?" And Castle was running phase rush too on Jace, and he was still getting chased down by the ghouls, and he was still he was actually avoiding a decent amount of the cages, but still unable to handle the side lane pressure later. So I like that. Whenever it's like it goes back to like Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan style, you know? You get beat down, you learn from it, and then he's going to be able to use that power now.
Become the Yorick.
Exactly.
Who's the Super Saiyan in this case.
Castle, because he lost to the Yorick, but he didn't die. So you always just get stronger after.
The maiden Krillin?
Maybe we'll diverge from this. Maybe we'll diverge from this analogy now. But now has Castle has Castle learned enough at the hands of Blippo on the receiving end of the York?
Becomes the master.
Exactly. It's like, all right.
I've been playing a lot of York lately. I think this champion is crazy strong. I will say, as strong as the cage is, basically every York matchup comes down to one thing. Can you hit your E? And if you hit your E consistently throughout the laning phase, your chip damage is really, really high. That is actually how you win, even post 6, how you win the all-ins. You've got to hit that mark to get the ghouls on target. And the other thing is, your opponents, if they don't understand the champion, they don't understand that when you miss your E, that's kind of this big weakness where you can look to actually punish. Surdy is actually going Grasp, which is interesting here. So I'm going to really want to track, does Surdy kind of punish these missing cooldowns here from the Yorick? You know, if he misses that E, is he going to go aggressive? But at the beginning of the split, we asked all our pros what fuels them. And for XU, his motivation was clear.
What fuels me? Beating Dignitas. What fuels you?
I like it. Short and succinct.
Are you going to answer him? Ask you a question, Kobe.
What fuels me? Playing Volley Bear.
I thought you were going to say getting LP. Because I feel like that's the reason you play Volley Bear.
Yeah, true. Better answer. But yeah, the grass is exactly what Bwipo did to Castle in the exact matchup, you know, and along with the grass, you get the second wind in the same tree, and you go the Doran shield, and so you soak up a lot of this damage for Castle, and then you're trying to hit your E's, you're trying to hit your cages when your jungler comes. Look for the Nefiri to try and help you out with that pressure too.
Yeah, we'll see. I definitely think that Yorick scales incredibly well. You know, the early lane can be fine, but you can definitely get chunked down. And until you have your ghouls set up, it is very hard to actually fight back against the Jace. You do get a grave every time you hit a champion with your Q, or every time you last hit a minion with your Q. But you can see Surdy is trying to trade pretty aggressively here. And of course, until you're level 2, you can't actually sick the ghouls on anything. So, you know, it is definitely tough in these early levels. Castle has to not take too much damage. And we'll just see the level of familiarity, I think, is so important in some of these matchups, especially with champions like Yorick that aren't very popular, even though they are quite powerful. If you don't understand the matchup, I feel like in top lane more than anywhere, you can get absolutely cooked because it's such a long lane and it's so punishing when you make mistakes.
Yeah, certainly is. Both junglers are also clearing towards this matchup, so we should have even jungle pressure when it does get down to it. Popping the bone plating there as well, so some nice defensive runes on both sides. And we'll see about the sustain wars there, especially if we get some junglers in the action. But should be able to have plenty of time after full clears to go down and get your Tri-Brush ward as well. Nefiri is very mobile, though, so can sometimes sneak around them.
Yep.
Ooh, he did the little fake. I like it when top laners do this. You know, you position down like you're going to place your ward, and sometimes the enemy top laner will communicate that it's there when it's not actually.
Oh, nice hook actually lands on Tomo as Isles went past. Is going to be the Ignite used. Traded for both the bear and the heal there. So good backstep by that DSG bot lane. Avoid the initial engage from Isles and are able to get some big summoners out of the enemy bot lane.
Rough. Woof woof.
Either or.
Which do you prefer?
I'm going to let you go with this.
You're the one who has an actual dog. It's all snow.
I feel like it's more of a woof than a rough,
Okay.
you know, if I'm...
Depends on like how angry you are.
Yeah,
Wolf is like,
exactly.
wait, oh, I'm happy to see you, Azael.
Yeah.
Welcome home.
Honestly, my dog doesn't even sound like a dog when he gets really excited. It almost sounds like he's screaming. It's very strange.
I definitely need to hear that now.
Yeah.
Give me a recording.
Well, we'll provide it later on, as Abadaga is going to have to flash out there. Good collapse from Dignitas coming in from multiple angles are going to be able to push them back and secure the bot side scuttle, therefore shaded.
Whoa, it's actually kind of crazy, the value out of that play. No flash on the target that has to play into Ari and Vi. Now we got to look at the timings. Like the full cooldown of your flash, it should not be up for the level 6s of the Ari at least, probably the enemy jungler too. So Abadaga is going to be under a lot of pressure. Vi ultimate into Ari charms. We'll see about his positioning.
This is kind of interesting. You know, you don't often see people pulling for a freeze in these kind of spots now. You know, people just generally play so heavily for prio. But Scary Jerry, because he has the teleport, he goes up towards top, and then he held the whole wave and then dragged it back to deny this wave. So he's going to deny the full 6 minions from Tomo. So that will equalize the CS deficit a little bit. So I think in this spot definitely is nice. I think that was well played because the grubs still aren't for 1 minute. So push in this spot didn't really do anything. So you deny a full wave. That allows you to equalize. Now you're going to start that slow push up to try to build the minions in your favor. And these are these little things that don't seem that big, but definitely can pay dividends throughout the course of a game.
Minions, the dividend stocks of League of Legends. League of Legends, there we go. Definitely well invested to be able to get a bit of extra value there. I have to say, with the grub fight, when you have the mid lane difference of the flash being down, I feel like it should be DSG though that are the ones first into the river to try and set up for these grubs. They're the ones that are, okay, it's going to be Dog first though.
They're going to be able to land that hook in onto Isles. Isles will just jump back to Tomo, who does have the shift and should be just fine. His XU is here covering and will clear out the ward. We can see, though, that Shaden is also up here on this top side. And who he's stepping forward, going to look, tries to go for the predict on the shift, but Tomo doesn't bite.
Look at all these advantages, though, for the setup for Dignitas. I mean, mid lane push, plus the level 6 Ari and the no flash being on Talia. So DSG are rushing in. I feel like you should probably just grab one and get out of there, since mid lane's pushed and top lane is pushed right now.
Ari is coming. You're right. You know, they could get pincered here. Scary Jerry also not a very mobile character. Would be a bit of an awkward spot. And now comes Tomo and Isles. They have the information. They are going to be able to find their exit here, though. Abadaga goes back in a little bit haphazardly. They do get 2 grubs, though, and they get out.
Okay. They stick around. They got the extra one.
Oh, the sweeper does spot Scary Jerry. Isles tries to find it. In comes Kaney. Can he actually find the charm? Goes point blank. He's going to go over the wall as Scary Jerry. He misread where he flashed because he flashed into the bush there on the side. I think he thought he flashed over the wall upwards. So he tries to follow, but Kaney can't actually spot him. I would like to see that again from Kaney's vision to see if it was actually one of those tricks where he kind of did just kind of misread where he was going. Not sure they would have been able to get the kill either way, but they do force out that flash, and at the end of the day, it's just that one extra grub advantage. Abadaga going to be able to push in the wave here.
Yeah, and I think that actually turned out very well for DSG. Considering the setups, I really thought Dignitas were going to get more out of it. Let's take a look at the chase. Of course, Isles is sweeping the ward. He wants to use the information on Jerry to go for him, and then straight from Kaney's POV. Scary Jerry does a good job hugging that wall, so I think
was actually really nice.
He makes it look very realistic. And then at then it's just a 50-50. And Kaney, you can like try and hug into the brush, so that would have helped him if he hugged a bit more of that side. He would have known.
Surdy wants a teammate to hug, but there's no one around. He is going to be having to run here from XU. XU flashing forward. Surdy does flash. The Q follows. Can the dogs finish him off? Doesn't look like they have the move speed. And now Shaden is coming in, as is the rest of Dignitas. And XU's in a lot of trouble here. The hook comes through from Hui, but it might just be another kill that's going to be given over as the reinforcements have arrived. Kaney is here. Hui's got nowhere to go, and they're likely to even be able to give this over to Kaney. Instead, the double kill taken by Shade and Dignitas get first and second blood.
Surdy absorbs the pressure, lives, and buys enough time for the rest of Dignitas to come and collect. That is massive for them on the bottom side of the map. I mean, DSG invests so hard in trying to get the kill onto him, but giving up 2 here. see what they can do with the money because it's all in onto Shaden. So the Vi is going to get very dangerous very quickly. And they're still pushing the minion wave. So it's basically just XU versus Surdy right here. And he invests his flash for the flash, but with the potion ticking here, with those defensive runes that he has for Surdy, with his full green tree, with his second wind, he was able to survive. And then you're so invested from Huhi and XU that there's no way out for them when the rest of Dignitas arrive.
Yeah, definitely a very costly play here. Shaden now going to be pretty far ahead of the curve as far as that is concerned. We are going to be back to live now, though, as Abadaga, again, just kind of trying to push these waves in. We can see Castle going to be working towards the Triforce. That's pretty much guaranteed what you go for these days. I do think it's the strongest first item. Has made a pit stop for the Tabbies. Makes a lot of sense. You're against Nefiri and Jace, and Jace has already got some early lethality there. Or, excuse me, not Nefiri. You're against Vi and Jace, but still double physical up on that top side is going to pay quite a lot of value.
He caught himself a little recon there, so nice little bit of chunk damage. But the vision behind them.
Flash, Scary Jerry. This could be trouble. They're going to be able to flash in. Great engage there from Miles, and the Q flash catches him from Shaden. The ulti came out from Scary Jerry, but without a flash, nowhere for him to go. It was a nice earlier play with it, but now really hurt and missing that flash. XU up here to cover. They are going to be able to grab one plate, though, and the kill. 3-0 is the lead for Dignitas. All 3 kills on the Vi. Already has the Sundered Sky.
Smart from him, too. Shaden with the lane gank. Now what can he do? Fully completed, as you say. Plus, he got his magical boots have arrived, so he is the most powerful one on the entire Rift right now. And the objective spawning right in front of him, so ultimate ready for Shaden, items ready for Shaden. It is go time. Looks like they don't even want to chase the crab up because he knows the rest of DSG were hovering on the top side. So cautiously played here. He does have smite ready, and they're just playing catch with the crab. Send it on back.
Yep, going to be able to grab that for himself. Remember, DSG did get 2 of those first grubs, but Dignitas definitely in a strong spot now to try to grab these ones. We'll see. There's a scrap down in bot lane. It's going to be the Charm landing on a Huhi, and he is gone already. Abadaga does arrive. Can they find the damage to take down Shaden? XU trying to do it, but on the side, it's going to be Tomo pushing back Scary Jerry. Tomo's back with the rest of the team, and it's back to DSG getting wiped. Kaney still 2 charges on the ulti. The True Shot Barrage connects. Scary Jerry flashes over the wall, tries to flash follow, but it's a face plant into the wall there. Tomo looking like he's going to be able to take down Abadaga, finishes the kill and should be out of range of the piercing arrows. Down on the bot side, both these top laners very low, but Castle getting the worst end of it. He's going to be pushed back, and it's 6-0 for Dignitas.
All right, let's go. Dignitas, this, we said they had some really good early games before and not being able to finish. This one, they definitely...
Oh, Castle connects there. He's going to get the ghouls on him, but he uses the acceleration gate. Can't get in range to actually cage him in. I think he actually didn't even have the mana because the cage is actually fairly expensive, but does delay the base. And now Huhi is down here. Huhi going to be able to nail the hook. Can they actually give the kill to Castle?
Okay.
They can. As he goops him and takes him down on the bot side. He goops him. Hits him with the ectoplasm. And is able to grab a couple plates off the back of that as well.
Ah, where's the Ghostbusters when you need him? His team did not arrive in time to save him this time. 30 down. Well, he's called Isles, but it's a little too late.
Yeah. At least impressive of the Ghostbusters.
Isles is not, in fact, even a Ghostbuster.
No.
Okay, he's like an intern.
He's more like the van that brings him there.
So this fight, we just went over it. I don't know why DSG even wanted to fight it because no member on their team had a completed item. And Shaden had his full Sundered Sky. Plus, Kaney had just finished the Rod of Ages on Ahri and teleported back out.
These are good points.
Plus, those are 2 champions that are some of the most mobile, pick-oriented champions in the game. It's okay. He already got plenty of kills. Didn't need that flash. Yeah,
You're making a lot of compelling arguments.
Yeah.
But hear me out. What if they just won anyway?
But they didn't, so...
Well, you know, but if they had, it would have been pretty sweet, wouldn't
if they
it?
had, I wouldn't open my mouth.
There you
know
go.
what? You got me.
You know what? Results-based analysis.
Yeah, you
were
go.
correct.
You
took
got
the
me.
fight. Yep.
But what if we won?
Yeah, exactly. Well, now the Ghostbusters are here as Castle is going to teleport to safety. And,
The ghost left.
The ghost just flew right away. And they're up towards the top side, and it's going to be a race for the tower. And it looks like DSG is winning this. Castle has a lot of damage here with that Sheen and did have a Demolish proc ready. Looks like they are going to be able to claim the first tower for themselves. So that is pretty nice. A good job there by Castle being able to survive. I do think it's so important that Castle stays strong in this game, because if you do have a side lane threat, it can make things a little bit more difficult for Dignitas, draw pressure down there, buy some time for the rest of the team to maybe scale up and find some angles. Because as things are going, it is looking tough for the rest of DSG.
Yeah. Nice little move. Castle gets out of there. Castle gets his Trinity. Shifty Ghost. Gets his Trinity Force completed as well. So maybe they can find something. I just think Dignitas, with the start that they have had, there's a lot of room for them to make picks. They've got Flash on Shaden ready. So Abadaga and Scary Jerry are just like the most viable targets, and neither of them have their flashes just yet, even though the cooldowns are fairly close to coming back. But their carries are just so low on mobility, and with the lead that Dignitas have and the capability to make those picks, even though we did see in the end of the last replay the flash charm towards the wall not having the range, I still think that is just going to be so hard for DSG to like play the map while not dropping resources, but still stay safe.
Especially for Scary Jerry, who doesn't even have, like he's playing teleport, right? He doesn't even have the additional combat summoner. At least Abadaga is going to be going much more of a tanky build. He is Roa going in towards that Seraph, so he'll have a lot of HP, he'll have that shield. Scary Jerry's going to have none of that, so it is going to be tough for him to survive, but we'll see if they can kind of find the poke earlier before the fight, maybe soften people up and dissuade them from coming in. Is XU going to get a nice little chip onto Isles there as he's trying to control that bottom side. And the Dragons have been pretty slow in coming this game. Only one has been claimed, so there's no big threat of soul or anything that's going to draw Castle to them, but could be trouble here for Huhi as he's going to have to flash the wall. Will they follow? Not going to elect to do so, so it is the ultimate use there by Isles. Traded out for the flash.
Flank.
Scary Jerry going to be in some trouble. Will he flash? He will, but he still has the charm, and he's going to be able to connect, and in comes Isles, and in comes the rest of the team. The Avengers arrive in the mid lane, and Scary Jerry's got nowhere to go.
Yep. Meanwhile, bot side.
Surdy could be in some trouble here. Can he hit the seismic shove? Surdy does still have his flash. He is going to be able to use it to flash. Nicely done. The tower is heated up, and they are tanking shot after shot after shot. The shock blast gets one. Surdy with the outplay. Tomo with the assist from downtown as well. Nicely done from Surdy.
Even with Surdy getting the classic top lane treatment, I feel like he is thriving under all of this pressure. He won the game of dodgeball right there for sure at the end, both trying to finish each other off with his skill shots. He hits the empowered shock blast. And Surdy here, let's take another look at it, honestly, because this is just after the mid lane pick, and so the idea from DSG is we need to get a play back. We need to get a play on the other side. But Surdy's forcing flashes everywhere with the extra tower shot and the extra damage from the Ezreal ult. He's able to win the poke wars at the very end while surviving.
Yeah, really well done by him. Dig take the Herald. They're likely to take this top lane tower as well. They do have 4 grubs, so they're going to be able to have that little Void Might spawn. Things looking really good for them, even better than their game yesterday against 100 Thieves. And it is really kind of Castle is that lone hope, it feels like right now for the team. He's got that 800 gold lead, but everyone else is way behind.
It's the other side of the top lane experience, where you're like, I finally, I learned from the last time I got this pick, this exact matchup. I took my notes, I'm doing great individually. And he's looking around.
Yep. You hit tab at 20 minutes. You're like, all right, guys, I got my items. Took down the tower. Things are going. Oh, God.
Everything else is on fire.
Yeah.
He walked into the room and
it's 8-1, and you're the one.
You are the one. You are the ghost.
Yep. It is definitely tough. York definitely can get a lot of work done, though. I mean, if they misplay in the side lane, there is potential sometimes to be able to find those 1v2 angles, but definitely going to be tough when the Vi is this fed and is already on 2 items. If that is the 2 that is joining down towards Surdy, it is going to be really difficult for Castle to play. And because his team is this far behind, they have no vision, but Isles there had no vision either, and Scary Jerry going to be able to get a kill, so that's a little bit something working there for DSG as they're able to grab their 2nd kill here of the game and equalize the gold lead just a little bit.
Good old-fashioned death brush. Group up, hide on brush, and hope somebody walks in, and somebody did indeed walk in. So a little bit of payment there, but as you say, it doesn't help a whole lot as far as the way that they're going to play the game anyway. So still is going to be the fight here over Dragon Vision. 30 seconds ahead of time. We're getting our resets from Dig already. So Dig have priority. They can just walk out into the river, push mid lane here, get their setup for the Dragon. I don't think DSG should walk into this one, but they did try and fight the Grubs fight when they were down some resources as well. So maybe that's the case. Castle, though, heading out to try and get the split pushing going for them.
Yeah, and York, honestly, even though they've made some changes, kind of like make them a little bit better, you know, when you group, you still generally want to just be in the side lane, to be honest. It's pretty tough to actually find a lot of value in team fights, especially against teams like this where the carries are very shifty. It's like Ezreal and Ahri are just going to get kited out and CC'd up and rooted, and it's very tough to actually close the gap and find a lot there. So he is going to be pushing up towards that top. Will force the response of Kaney to move up here towards this top side, but they already lost their tier 1 mid. They do lose the Dragon. It is only the second. Castle does get the Demolish proc down, but something you actually have to be really careful about is they changed the way that the Ghoul AI works since they did this mini rework. And one of the problems with this is it actually makes it very hard to hit the tower in your opponent's face, as he's going to get charmed under the tower. And now Castle misses the E, does get a nice heal off of his Q, but in comes Isles, and it's going to be a shutdown. Went too far there. The minion wave was gone, and does get shut down because of those additional tower shots he took. But they changed the ghouls basically, so now the ghouls will randomly hit the enemy champion when they're under tower, even if you don't hit an E. So they'll pull aggro onto you, and that can make it really hard to actually progress the game sometimes if you're not very far ahead and can't pull off a dive.
Yeah, I mean, that one was rough too. Castle just kind of moves up, nothing there to block or anything, and that was
an oopsie.
That was an oopsie, and that was like the ray of hope for DSG in this game.
It's looking rainy.
It's definitely looking rainy now. Honestly, I like the Death Brush play. Just group back up. Go.
Yep, all right.
Buy control
side
ward.
lane's not working.
Do that again.
5 people in a brush. Let's see how we go.
Do that. And see about anybody walking in, because everything else is kind of flopped.
Yeah, they haven't really built fine much.
The split push was kind of like the last bastion.
Yeah, and sometimes these things happen when, like, we've all been in that spot. As we're going to see a potential engage here. Nice disengage, though, from Abadaga, but it's not even going to matter. He's going to get charmed, and in comes Surdy now. Castle arrives on the teleport, but he doesn't even have an ulti, so York is useless in this situation. Abadaga tried his best to disengage Shaden, but he was able to buffer the ulti on the seismic shove. The CC landed. Kaney followed up. They got the kill. And things looking good now. Is going to be able to force a flash there out on that hook. Kaney, though, in the back line. Scary Jerry does avoid the charm. Exu on the other side trying to fight, but Exu's going to get charmed up, and Exu's going to get knocked down. In comes Surdy. Kaney cleans up another. Scary Jerry is gone. It's Castle versus the world. He is on the run. Flash forced by the jump in from Isles, and they can just go right down to Otacon if they want to, but they want the tier 2 as well. Tomo is there. Q flash from Shaden. They get the kill. They'll get the tower. They'll get the ace, and they will take everything.
All right, Dignitas, this is the one to end their loss streak. Just destroying DSG in the middle of the map here. Bunch of flashes blown, but look at the re-engage. Surdy had gone back to split push, but once they see DSG investing out into the open here, they call in Kaney and Surdy to come close the flanks. Shaden here on the front line locks them up. They get the re-engage from Isles to lock down the first kill. Finish off the second. I mean, they're just also so far ahead that once DSG decided, hey, we're going to make this attempt. We want to keep losing stuff, so we're going to go for it in mid lane. Dignitas, they pull through the flankers there from their solo laners, call them back. Both Kaney and Surdy able to collapse and close death in upon DSG.
Kaney's so strong now. It does have Magi's, and he already has his fully stacked Roa plus Leandries. He's got a large rod on top. Ridiculously ahead in mid lane. You're ridiculously ahead in the jungle. Bot lane is way ahead now too. And DSG going to get spotted over by the Otacon there, saying, you know what, maybe it's time to just flip it. And they're just going to decide, you know what, they saw us, who cares? Let's just try it anyway. As Abadaga does spot Isles there, is getting some chip damage down on him, but it just doesn't die that fast. Yorick does crush objectives, and they're kind of just depending on that Yorick damage from the Maiden here. It is getting quite low now, and the teleport's going to be forced here from Kaney. They're looking for the turn. Can they actually find it here onto Tomo? Tomo flashes out as in comes Isles. Kaney's now arriving. Flashes in, lands the charm. Scary Jerry is gone already. Hui on the side, though, fighting strong. Castle and XU are still alive. It's a pretty even fight thus far. Can they actually make something happen? No, they cannot. XU down incredibly low. The charm's going to land on Castle. Castle blast cones out, but not the safety. As on the other side, it's XU dead, and again, it is Castle alone versus everyone. Shaden will go back to where it all started and start up the Otacon for Dig.
The super blast cones are one of the coolest things that they've added to this game. I like the use there to go for the chase on the kills. But yeah, Otacon is shredding all of DSG's armor and magic resist right now. They know, though, they're trying to force something, so they flash, they go up towards Tomo, they full send on the top side. Meanwhile, Abadage and Scary Jerry, your two carries there, got pushed up against Otacon and destroyed by the rest of Dignitas. So while they did get like their full send up into the top half of the map there to get their kill, still cleaned up and collected by Dignitas.
Well done by Dig. It is a dominant performance from them thus far. Nearly a 9,000 gold lead, 18-4. Pretty demoralizing stuff, honestly, for DSG, because this is the other team at the bottom of the standings that you are going up against, but haven't been able to get really any purchase in this game to try to get something going. Third Dragon will be collected here for Dig. Of course, you're not going to fight into those Otacon G8s at this point, but really, DSG, only chance now is just fully overload one side, try to find 3v1s, 4v1s, try to get quick kills, hope Dignitas starts to pile up some mistakes. Otherwise, I think this is going to be a quick closeout from Dig.
Castle got a purchase of a Hull Breaker.
That's true. He does have the Hull Breaker, but he does have no ultimate. We'll see if he can actually win without it. It's looking pretty good for him so far, but Surdy just kiting back, not allowing him to have that full all-in. Good hook from Hui, but it's not going to matter as it's buffered out by Tomo. Tomo is pumping damage into Hui. Shaden's going to get knocked down, so they do get one withdraw. Can they push forward and try to find more? Seismic Shove does connect there onto Isles, but they don't have the follow-up damage to actually knock them down. DSG, if there's an opportunity, it might be right here, right now. Nice charm, though, does actually connect there onto XU. XU going to be pushed back one more time. Kaney is just playing so aggressive, not threatened at all at this point. He's level 17, miles ahead of where Scary Jerry is. 5 levels up on the Varus right now.
Yeah, he's definitely scared. Even under tower there, taking a lot of damage. Tomo not scared at all. He walks into the tower, going to shift over the wall, I assume. Or not, just withdraw.
No, I think he was just trying to trade out his withdraw for the tier 2, but couldn't quite finish it. It is a lot of gold if you get it, but...
That's the thing now, with it 200 gold, plus the extra stats that you're going to get permanently from any team, I think teams are still being too free with giving away their withdraws.
Yeah.
Because it is a decent amount. I mean, there's a lot of comeback potential here.
He does have his flash, but is it going to get him out to safety? He decides not to flash the wall. Wasn't sure if they were going to fully commit to that. Would have just been the withdraw, so they decide, you know what? We'll just push him out and take that.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams are being a little bit too free. So unless you're doing it where there is some sort of objective that you can then go force because of the timing difference. Like if you're going to go int because you know the timing difference is going to mean a lot, then sometimes that can be beneficial, but there is a real cost to giving those over now. Still though, they're very comfortable, large gold lead and everything.
Yep, they are very far ahead. And are going to find a hook here on Isles. They're trying to turn around the Chains of Corruption there to follow, but there's the flash in, and oh my god, now you see him, now you don't, and that is scary for Jerry. He is down, and Dignitas piling in, looking to put the finishing touches onto this one. In goes Kaney, trying to finish off Abadaga, and he's going to do it. Nails the charm and takes him down. XU will fall as well. Again, it is Castle alone versus all of Dignitas, and he's got not much to do here.
Okay. Well, he's going to try another... What is he going to try?
He's going to try to kill some minions.
What's he going to try? He's got a Jace on top side. The rest of the enemy team's on Baron. All he can do is try and focus on the wave. Like you said earlier, Zale, focus on what you can control.
He's in his lane. He's relaxed. He's striving.
Try and kill those minions off.
Got the wave.
Because Dignitas, they're going to collect everything else. They put the pressure on top side. They get the Baron for themselves, and that should be the rest of the push. They got so close with...
Watch how fast this Varus dies.
Okay. Varus identified on the right side of your screen. When do we start counting? Boom, boom, boom.
That was like legit, what, 0.2 seconds full to dead?
Yeah, what was our slow-mo out there? Because the slow-mo made
Yeah.
it seem longer.
It did.
I think it would be more impressive.
It is dirty.
It would be more
Another
impressive.
replay,
What if they
and now
sped it
they're
up?
Double speed.
Yeah, exactly. We're on the same page there. Show that fast forward. Can't even see the health bar.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's definitely been a bit of a tough one for the Varus, as kind of expected it to be, honestly, with all of this engage and not a lot of safety there for Scary Jerry. But DSG going to keep on fighting, now down nearly 13,000 gold, plus the Baron buff is there.
All right, Tomo on the tower.
Round 2 will
He's
go
got
to
it.
Tomo,
He's got it this one this time.
He brought backup.
Okay.
It's like got beat up at school, but this time you bring back your big brother to help you out with the tower. Yeah, so they are going to be threatening here. Wall going to be thrown down by Abadaga, trying to pincer them off, and they're going to look for Surdy, but can't really find much. They get the seismic shove, but it's not even into the rocks, so it didn't do much of anything. And Kaney is already taking down that mid lane tower. An objective bounty was claimed by Castle down on the tier 2. They know they can't defend, so they're just going to try to split push. We'll see how much he can get, and if they can threaten anyone to force them back. Surdy does go back now as he is on that inhibitor tower. How much can Castle get, and can they hold on the other side? They're going in for Abadaga, going to be throwing down the stasis, but they're just stacking in on top of him. Hui does a good job peeling out the engage, but Hui's in a lot of trouble. He's trying to get back, can't survive the damage. Castle has already knocked down in the hip. He's just pushing for the Nexus, but I don't think he's really going to be able to make it happen against Surdy. And meanwhile, a Nexus tower has fallen. It's just Scary Jerry, XU, and Abadaga. And look at that damage coming through from Kaney. And I think this is going to be it. The charm lands. The damage is done. Dignitas will take down DSG.
Walker lit up this game, I think.
Yeah, it's a cringe game, of course.
I think I should not have went ball in. Just stay top.
When did you go bot?
I went to Yorick and then we did nothing combo.
That cover J was really good.